The judge
in the guardianship.
The judge in the guardianship read Alex Finney, the Riot Act, threatened her and said, you're talking, making an accusation that she's talking to the media. And if you continue doing it, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. There is a gag order in this case. I can tell you that the judge has scared a lot of people.
What could possibly be more shocking than a judge looking at one of the most recognizable women in television history and, in plain terms, saying her career is over for good? For many people watching Wendy Williams' legal battle unfold, that moment was deeply unsettling. Wendy wasn't just another talk show host. She was a cultural force, someone who dominated daytime television for decades, built an empire from her personality, and became a household name across generations. The idea that a courtroom could quietly decide that her professional life had reached a permanent end left many people stunned and confused. To outsiders, it didn't just feel harsh. It felt personal. It raised uncomfortable questions about power, control, and who truly benefits when someone as influential as Wendy suddenly loses her voice. Behind that shocking courtroom moment lies a much darker story, one that doesn't just involve Wendy, but also her ex-husband Kevin Hunter and his longtime partner, Sharina Hudson. Their lives, once fueled by the success Wendy worked years to build, have reportedly fallen apart in ways few people expected. For years, Kevin and Sharina lived comfortably, shielded from financial stress. The money Wendy earned through her talk show and media deals allowed a lifestyle filled with luxury, privacy, and security. At the same time, Wendy was unknowingly living with betrayal. According to reports, Kevin had maintained a secret relationship with Sharina for over a decade, all while standing beside Wendy in public as her husband and manager. That double life lasted far longer than most people realize, and it was supported by income Wendy believed was helping her family. Everything changed in
This is one of the most outrageous things I have heard in a long, long time.
In a case that has been filled.
And looks at Wendy and says, you know, you had a great career. Your career is over. It is never coming back. You're done.
2022, Wendy's talk show officially ended, and soon after, a court-ordered guardianship froze her financial accounts. In a matter of days, the flow of money stopped. Banks locked down access. Payments that Kevin had relied on disappeared. Suddenly, the financial foundation he and Sharina had built their lives on was gone. Kevin later admitted that the situation hit hard and fast. He claimed he was no longer able to cover even basic monthly obligations, including tens of thousands of dollars in payments tied to properties and personal expenses. The lifestyle that once seemed permanent vanished almost overnight. According to people close to the situation, Kevin began selling off expensive items and scrambling to manage debts that were piling up quickly. Sharina, who once shared glimpses of designer clothes, upscale homes, and business ambitions, reportedly shifted into survival mode. Sources say she began taking on work just to stay afloat, a sharp contrast from the image she once projected online. The sudden change was jarring, especially for someone who had grown accustomed to financial comfort without worrying about stability. One of the most disturbing moments in this entire saga came when a judge openly suggested that Wendy's career was finished and would never return. To many observers, that statement felt extreme. Wendy Williams had spent decades building her brand, shaping pop culture conversations, and maintaining a loyal audience. The idea that a judge could declare her professionally irrelevant felt less like a medical assessment and more like a final sentence. It left people asking one critical question: why would a judge feel confident enough to make that kind of statement? Court records later revealed that Kevin had been receiving around $250,000 per month following his divorce from Wendy. That support continued until the guardianship went into effect. Once Wendy lost control of her finances, the payments stopped. By 2023, it became clear that the money was gone and there was no backup plan. Kevin attempted to restart spousal support, but the court denied his request. The judge ruled that Wendy had no legal obligation to continue paying him under the terms of their settlement. That ruling marked a turning point. With no steady income and growing debts, Kevin escalated the situation. He filed a massive lawsuit demanding $250 million in damages. The lawsuit didn't just target Wendy. It also named her court-appointed guardian and Wells Fargo, accusing them of working together to block his access to funds. Kevin framed the guardianship as a coordinated effort designed to cut him off financially. He claimed it was less about Wendy's health and more about control. According to his filings, powerful lawyers, banks, and court officials worked behind the scenes to freeze Wendy's assets and decide who could benefit from them. The timing of his lawsuit raised eyebrows. While Wendy was dealing with serious health concerns, moving between facilities, and losing control over her own life, Kevin and Sharina were still attempting to secure financial support from resources Wendy herself couldn't touch. To many people, that detail was hard to ignore. Sharina gave birth to Kevin's daughter in 2019, confirming what many had suspected for years. Insiders say the relationship stretched back at least 15 years, overlapping with some of Wendy's most vulnerable moments, including hospital stays and rehab visits. This wasn't a brief mistake. It was a long-term situation that played out quietly while Wendy worked, struggled, and trusted the people closest to her. Kevin later admitted that he took responsibility for his actions, but the damage had already been done. He allegedly purchased homes for Sharina, funded her lifestyle, and supported her vegan chef business using money tied directly to Wendy's career. When the guardianship froze those funds, the entire structure collapsed. In court, Kevin claimed he could no longer afford insurance payments, association fees, or even basic credit card bills. By mid-2024, UBS Bank sued him for more than $20,000 in unpaid debt. Although Sharina wasn't directly named in the legal filings, her silence during Kevin's legal battles spoke volumes. Kevin attempted to reframe himself as Wendy's protector, arguing that his lawsuit exposed abuse within the guardianship system. Legal experts quickly dismissed that claim. After the divorce, Kevin no longer had legal standing to act on Wendy's behalf. He had no authority over her finances, her health decisions, or her legal matters. Meanwhile, Wendy's family began speaking out. Her niece, sister, and son publicly stated that they were blocked from visiting or even contacting her. Reports claimed that her guardian restricted access, sold Wendy's Manhattan apartment, and controlled her daily life with little transparency. Wendy herself reportedly begged to leave her assisted living facility. She described it as unbearable and claimed she was being overly medicated. While she fought for freedom and control over her own life, Kevin was suing the very system that had stopped funding his lifestyle. The irony was impossible to ignore. Despite claims that Wendy's career is over, interest in her has not disappeared. Documentaries, interviews, and renewed public attention suggest that many people still want to hear from her. Industry insiders say Wendy remains a powerful name, and conversations about a potential return haven't stopped. Recent whispers suggest that an undisclosed trust account may have been accessed without Wendy's consent. If proven, that could point to a much larger financial operation involving multiple people. If true, Kevin and Sharina may not be the only ones who relied on Wendy's silence to keep their worlds intact. Kevin's lawsuit paints a disturbing picture. He claims the guardianship was never about care but about control. While his motivations are clearly tangled with self-interest, parts of his story echo concerns raised by Wendy's own family. Friends describe the environment around Wendy as restrictive, not supportive. There are also reports that Wendy's cats were removed without her permission, and that her apartment was sold at a loss. These details paint a troubling picture of authority being exercised without compassion. Financial pressure and public backlash have reportedly taken a toll on Kevin and Sharina's relationship. Their Florida home has been listed, luxury items sold, and sources claim Sharina may have moved back in with family. Some insiders believe their relationship has quietly ended. Those close to Sharina describe her as withdrawn, anxious, and deeply shaken. She reportedly avoids public places and fears further legal trouble. Many believe she never expected Wendy's guardianship to be so restrictive. Without access to money, she was left with fallout and fear. Now, questions are growing louder. Was Kevin's betrayal the cause of everything, or just one part of a much bigger system? Were others competing for influence and control while Wendy slipped further into silence? Some insiders claim media projects about Wendy's life were pitched while she was still struggling, raising concerns about who truly benefits from her story remaining unresolved. At the center of it all is Wendy Williams herself, watched, medicated, and restricted. A woman who built a career exposing the truth about others may now be living inside the most disturbing story of all. Fans remain divided. Some believe Wendy needs protection. Others believe she's being controlled under the disguise of care. What's undeniable is that almost everyone who once surrounded her for love, loyalty, or money is gone. Kevin continues filing lawsuits, trying to regain access to Wendy's financial world. Sharina has faded from public view, but insiders say she may know more than anyone realizes. As one former stylist put it, if she ever speaks freely, many people will regret underestimating her. So the real question remains: who was truly pulling the strings behind Wendy Williams' guardianship? Was it neglect, control, or something even darker? This story is far from over.